For a long time, I've wrestled with how to make my girlfriend play a Pokemon game for this series. I grew up playing these games, and my girlfriend's knowledge of them is rather limited. She knows of them, but I'd like to see if we can get her a little more familiar. Might even set us up for some fun Pokemon-related date nights in the future. I don't know that a Nuzlocke run is the best way to introduce someone to the games, but it sure is a funny way to do it. As much as I'd like to throw her into the deep end with the original Red and Blue, she really wanted to be able to play as a girl.
Yo, look at me! Can I make her blonde?
Nope.
Wait, really?
You're lucky you can even be a girl.
That's a good point.
So this time, I made my girlfriend play Pokemon FireRed. I should start by explaining what her background with Pokemon is. As far as I know, the only main series game she's touched was Pokemon Moon, so she's a bit of a late bloomer. Pretty much everything she knows about the series is grounded in the anime, which means she's not terribly well informed.
These donuts are great! Jelly-filled are my favorite! Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
Even still, it means she's got a good enough handle on the first generation that she stands a good chance at surviving.
What's a Noiki? He couldn't even remember my rival's name, and I can't remember my rival.
Okay, so let's talk about Nuzlocke. For the uninitiated, it's a set of self-imposed rules to make Pokemon a hardcore run, so to speak. Or in my girlfriend's case, a set of boyfriend-imposed rules to make it more stressful for her and entertaining for us. The first rule is you can only catch the first Pokemon you find.
Oh.
On, in any area. So that's, the different routes or the, the cities.
So I just, walk in, and whatever decides to hit me first is what I'm catching?
Exactly. And if it gets away or you knock it out on accident or something, then you lost your chance. The second rule is, biggest rule, when a Pokemon faints, it's considered dead. Or gone for the purposes.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so it's that's what makes it a hardcore run, is you have to be careful. You have to take good care of them, because they're gone for good.
Can I make them fake dead?
Yeah, you can, for all intents and purposes, they might just be, they ran away.
Yeah, there you go.
Or they're off living on a farm. And then the third and final rule is an optional rule, but it's you have to nickname every Pokemon you get, because that way you're a little more attached to them. I'm sure you were gonna do that anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that anyway.
Yeah. The first rule is mostly a way to force you to use Pokemon you might not normally use, and restrict some of the rarer ones to chance. But in her case, she hasn't used any of them yet, so there's really no heartbreak over encountering a Rattata for the third time. You can take it a step further and say this rule actually improved things for her, because she's limited to what she finds, which simplifies her options.
Water type Pokemon. I got whatever I find first.
Skipping momentarily to the optional third rule, this shouldn't have been a difficult one. Nicknaming the Pokemon was something she would have done anyways, but it didn't make her mulling over a name any shorter. She'd sit there indecisively for 10 minutes trying to name one, even when it was going straight into the storage box. Her insistence on naming everything after food suggests maybe she was hungry during her playthrough, but it also produced some absolute bangers in the process.
What am I gonna name him? Nido? Grave Lord Nido.
Name him Nido.
That would be fun.
N-I-T-O, Nido.
Yeah.
Okay, do that.
I could also name him Grave Lord.
You could. That's a little intense.
That's a little tense. I'm just gonna do Nido. Okay, so that's a good option. Let's think of any other options. He's purple. I can name him Grape. I feel like you really like Nido. Grape Lord Nido.
Well, we could just we could name him Nido, and then we could refer to him as
Grape Lord. I like that. Yeah. That is one Grape Lord. The second rule is really the only one that has any real weight in her particular playthrough. For all intents and purposes, they're not going to be dead, but they'll be fake dead. Our forensic scientist's definition of dead may be questionable. This was to keep the inevitable crying to a manageable level. The biggest problem was once she names something, it becomes her pet, so even though they sort of fake die for the purposes of this challenge, she was filled with anxiety about keeping all her pets safe. I gotta go a little Bulbasaur. He's too cute. They're all too cute. Yeah, let's go with Bulbasaur. He's energetic. I love baby bok choy, because he's a little leafy boy. Once she was given the Pokedex, she was let loose into the world to start figuring things out. That meant playing extremely cautiously and visiting a Pokemon Center after every single encounter with a Pidgey. I could already tell she was in for a bumpy ride. Oh my god. Okay.
Nana come back.
Her playstyle started off slow and clunky. It was a little awkward navigating the UI and walking around the world at first. She got smoother as she advanced through the game and got used to the flow of battle, but it's safe to say she was taking things at her own pace. Speaking of slow, I couldn't help but notice she would walk everywhere. In fact, the only time I saw her run was when she needed to use the Pokemon Center.
Nurse Joy!
I guess whether she knew it or not, she was committed to an authentic red and blue roleplay since those didn't have the running shoes in them.
Whee! Oh my god, I'm so fast! Eee! Shit, I just ran right into a challenger.
Once she got the bike, things got a little bit better, but still she would clunkily crash into anything and everything.
Eee! Cannot run on the inside. It's okay, don't run by pools. Eee! It's like I'm on my way to my battle and then they see me crash through the window and they're like, huh, I don't think that'll be too tough. And I'm like, I am here!
Understanding the different typings and their weaknesses and resistances wasn't something I'd considered. I really took for granted what it's like growing up with these games and just knowing things off the top of your head. Every time a new Pokemon would show up, she'd ask me what type it was and would have this giddy, genuine amazement every time I knew it.
And so you as a 10-year-old would intuitively know this because
we didn't want to die.
Trying to keep track of all the interactions were easier said than done though. Fire, water, and grass were easy enough with rock, paper, scissors interactions. When you start throwing things like bug, poison, and psychic into the mix, it gets a lot harder to explain to a newcomer.
I figured you could just like point at one and ask me questions about it.
okay.
Like what it's weak to, maybe.
Yeah. Holy shit. There are 18? Okay, so then electric, I'm guessing that that's like strong against water?
Yep.
Okay, but then like what is electric weak to?
Ground.
Oh, cause like you ground the electricity. Okay, that makes sense. And then ice. Like how is ice different than water?
Ice is weak to fire.
Oh, cause it can melt it.
Yeah.
So I see that like we have ground and flying, but ground is different than rock.
Yes. So flying is immune to ground,
Okay, that would
but
make sense.
weak to rock.
Because we're gonna be like throwing rocks at birds?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I guess that's kind of the logic.
I'm just trying to like come up with like ways to remember all of this. Bugs we define. Oh, because birds eat bugs.
Yep,
Okay.
I guess so.
I'm just saying. I'm assuming all flying
And
Pokemon
bug
are
beats
birds.
grass because bugs eat grass.
Okay, so bugs eat the grass, and then the birds eat the bugs, and then we throw rocks at the birds. Okay, what about ghost?
Ghost beats itself.
Okay. What? Do all of them beat itself?
No,
Okay,
just ghost and
ghost.
dragon.
Just the ghosties. Oh, wait, and dragon. Okay. I'm gonna have a hell of a time remembering this, but I'm gonna try my damnedest.
In its most basic form, understanding the typings and their different relations to one another is the key to doing well in these games. Once she got a handle on what beat what, she picked up a lot of momentum. The way she'd rationalize why something was weak or strong against something else was probably the most fun thing to eavesdrop on while she was playing. It's the type of thing you never stop to consider and just sort of roll with, but having someone like my girlfriend approach it with such a painfully honest outlook was priceless.
Wait, grass beats rock? Rock, paper, scissors. That's why paper beats rock, because paper's made of plants.
You just solved it.
It really sent me back to my childhood seeing her approach to what the game had to offer. I haven't avoided a trainer battle since I was probably in grade school, so seeing her carefully time her run to sneak past the trainers with her backs turned was a total blast from the past. At some point in time I realized that I was only making my life harder skipping battles because it meant less money and experience, but it was probably best to just let her figure that out the hard way.
No, Caterpie can't hack it. I got money. I just ripped it from this kid's pocket.
Ironically, I never saw her run from a wild Pokemon battle. And it's especially funny since she didn't know what repels were until halfway through her playthrough. I think she fought one too many Zubats though because she developed quite the aversion to grass and caves. Following the rule set of the challenge encouraged her to catch something each time she got to a new route, which also encouraged her to explore and seek out new areas. I think it really helped her to have incentives that pushed her outside of her comfort zone and seek out new things in the face of danger. Among the plethora of different Pokemon she was catching and naming, a few notable players emerged to the front of her lineup and showed some clear potential to be a part of her super squad.
A Growlithe! Ah! Okay.
It actually surprised me how well-rounded her team was. When I played my first Pokemon game years and years ago, I remember only leveling my starter and pretty much trying to brute force my way through every battle with it and it alone. In her case, it seemed like her strongest Pokemon rotated around from team member to team member depending on the area she was in and what type she was encountering. There was a surprisingly healthy balance of power across her team, something that I didn't pick up on until I got older.
He has a Ponyta. Oh my god, I'm jealous. Go Sushi.
I definitely noticed a shift in her style as she built more confidence in her abilities in the team. The only real problem was that, as usual, the second she starts to feel somewhat fluent in what she's doing, her overconfidence tends to catch up with her. It's a fine line you walk when you're feeling overleveled and cocky. Since she was sort of ricocheting between difficulties, there were areas where she was completely decimating the competition without a problem, and then ones where she was licking her wounds.
I saw my laugh.
No sooner had she swept an entire trainer's team with one Pokemon, and then just as quickly, she'd stumble into an area where her team's ace would come close to getting knocked out in one hit.
Little Mandrake! No! Mandrake! Yeah, definitely.
That was for the Mandrake.
That was for the Mandrake! Oh!
It's easy to think you're at the top of the food chain, but in a run like this, all it takes is one battle to humble you. She had to remember she wasn't invincible, otherwise the game would do it for her.
He was my first one I caught!
Up until this point, it's been all fun and games, but losing her first catch was a huge wake-up call. My girlfriend has never been one to go out of her way and grind to be stronger, but skipping optional battles finally was starting to catch up with her. The thing about the first generation is you reach a point where a lot of things open up for you and you can sort of tackle them in whatever order you want.
Yo! Oh my god, I gotta like control it. Ha! Oh, this is so fun! Where am I going?
Her biggest sin of all throughout the game was not paying attention to the battle text. It was all too easy to fall into autopilot and start mashing the A button through the different dialogue boxes. And then before you know it, she was staring at a yes or no box trying to figure out what she was saying yes or no to. Learning a new move? Switching Pokemon? In fact, which Pokemon did they say were sending out next? This was more often than not what would put her into these high pressure situations, and led to many near misses with losing team members.
It scared the shit out of me.
She actually went after Sabrina a lot sooner than I would have, and that's why there was a sudden spike in difficulty. The side effect of tackling some of the harder areas out of order was that she had a pretty smooth ride for the back half of the game. All the pain and suffering of losing Pokemon in the middle of her playthrough paid dividends as she was better prepared for what turned out to be a much easier section of the story. It's also nice that the last few gyms she faced were ones she had a major type advantage over.
It's still Okoda! God damn. Give me a 5 badge. I defeated Blaine!
Probably my favorite part of sharing these stories with my girlfriend and her experience with games is what a clean slate she has going into them. It's amazing watching someone see things for the first time and get caught off guard, even when it's been around for so long that so many of us were practically born with the information. One of the coolest things about her being completely in the dark about the story was the big twists that have been around for like 25 years are just as big of a shocker to her as they were in 1996.
Wahaha, welcome to my hype. Wait, he's like the Team Rocket guy? This is Giovanni! Oh my god! He at the gym, this is why he was gone the whole time? What a dick! I fought him so many times already! Whoop whoop. Yay, I'm a hero!
In the same way, she really thought the Elite Four would just be the Elite Four. I was purposely vague about how many trainers she'd have to battle at the Indigo Plateau because I had faith in her and knew in classic girlfriend fashion what she didn't know couldn't hurt her. She was already walking into her final challenge underleveled, but to add to the drama, she had no clue who was waiting for her after Lance. Fueled by overconfidence itself, she stepped past the point of no return.
Sushi's a fighter. For breakfast. I defeated Lance! I defeated the final four! I'm a Pokemon master! One challenge left. Oh my god! So he's already come through here and he's the secret 5th battle! Of course you are. Of course you are.
The champion battle is the biggest grudge match of the game, and she had her own reasons for wanting to come out on top. It's been a long time coming since throughout this entire playthrough, the rival has been the one to claim the lives of her Pokemon. Add the caveat that she named him after me, and you have the perfect storm for a girlfriend revenge story.
Champion knew he would like to battle. Predicted that. Whew, thank you. Baby rock, baby rock, baby rock. Whoo! Beautiful. Nito! Get him out of here. Nice. Nice. Zoosh, the Zoosh. Okay, we're good, we're good. Oh my god, I beat Noiki! Ah! I beat my first Pokemon game! Ah! Congratulations, Tarny. You and your Pokemon are Hall of Famers! Ah! Look, there's my Pokemon! It's my team and my family.
And just like that, I'm dating a Pokemon champion. Overall, I think playing Nuzlocke as an introduction to the games might be a better way to learn than I'd originally anticipated. It teaches you to try new things, test out different team setups, and play a little more conservatively. It's fun to go all out and throw caution to the wind, but it turns out keeping things close to the chest and playing a more methodical game will help you avoid a lot of the pitfalls and bad habits I encountered in my youth. I mean, the dying thing kinda sucks, but that's just another reason to get good.
Okay, bye.